Welcome to another Georgia prison war story.
Lil Boosie wanted a tattoo on his man meat. Lil Boosie stood in his dimly lit cell, his back against the cold concrete wall. His real name was James Dupree, but everyone called him Lil Boosie because of his uncanny resemblance to the Louisiana rapper. The only difference was that James was taller, standing a solid 6 feet, but he carried the same energy, the same attitude, and the same wild streak that made people gravitate toward him. He had been at Telfair State Prison for 3 years now, serving a 20-year sentence for vehicular homicide in his hometown of East Point, Georgia. The memory of that night that changed his life forever still haunted him. The screeching 28-inch tires of his purple and gold box Chevy, the blinding lights, the sudden impact with the victim, a 37-year-old junkie darting across the street without looking both ways. It was a mistake, but one he couldn't undo because he drove away, leaving the scene of the crime, and the addicted man died right in the street before paramedics could save him from internal bleeding. And now, behind these dirty walls of one of Georgia's top 5 grimiest level 5 camps, he had carved out a reputation that kept him safe. Though he wasn't affiliated with any of the gangs, the gangsters respected him. He wasn't scared to up that machete if he had smoke. Plus, he was too unpredictable, too fearless to be messed with. And he had his own thing going on, heavily tattooed, covered from neck to toe in ink, a walking mural of pain, memories, and rebellion, as if he was in his own gang and only had one member in it. Him! Tragedy had recently struck Lil Boosie. The mother of his 5-year-old daughter was taken away from Earth in the same way as the 37-year-old junkie that he had hit. Only the person that hit her as she was jogging, trying to get back in shape, was never caught for the crime and got away with it. Losing his baby mama had shaken him to his core because she was the only female he actually loved out of all the hoes he dealt with in his life. When he got the news from the prison chaplain, he spent hours staring at the ceiling as he lay in his top bunk, replaying every moment they had shared. The pain was unbearable. He needed something permanent to honor that girl. He definitely was going to try and track the nigga down that hit her, but for now, a tattoo would do. But where? After years of getting inked up, there was barely any space left on his body. He sought out a dude named White Boy Rick, the best tattoo artist in their dorm. Rick was an older guy covered in faded ink from his 26 years in the system. He knew how to work with the limited resources they had inside: homemade tattoo guns made from fan motors, ink mixed from soot and shampoo. Man, I want to get her name on me, but I ain't got no space left, Lil Boosie said, stretching his arms. You got any ideas? Rick rubbed his chin, scanning Boosie's body like a canvas. Damn, man, you really ain't left much room. Might have to get creative with it. For the next few days, Boosie brainstormed ideas. He wanted it to be special, something that truly honored her memory. As he lay in his bunk one night staring at the ceiling, it finally hit him. He knew exactly where to put the tattoo. The next morning, he found Rick in a small yard. Okay, I figured it out, Boosie said, a determined look in his eyes. I know where I want her name. Rick raised an eyebrow. Oh yeah, where? Boosie smirked. Let's just say it's going to be a first for you. Boosie then pointed down towards his groin and told Rick that he wanted him to ink his baby mama's name on his man meat. Rick hesitated, saying that was crazy and it would hurt like hell, but then shrugged. All right, brother, if that's what you want, we'll make it happen. Over the next few days, they planned it out, making sure they had everything they needed. Boosie was ready. This wasn't just about getting another tattoo. This was about honoring the woman that had his baby girl. Although Lil Boosie was from Atlanta, which has a strong concentration of rainbow activity men dwelling in its borders, he had never partaken in any of that stuff, except for the one time when he was 12 and his 16-year-old rainbow cousin showed him how to kiss the little girl down the street that he claimed was his girlfriend. His freaky cousin took full advantage of him, making him feel uncomfortable until it just started feeling okay. There's no telling how far his cousin would have went had their uncle not have came in the house unexpectedly and caught them in the act. Years later, Lil Boosie didn't consider himself a part of the rainbow community for that incident, chalking it up to his cousin taking advantage of him, although curiosity did remain in a corner of his mind all these years. On the day he was to get his tattoo from Rick, he smoked some Al Green, which inmates call weed in the Georgia prison system, to calm his nerves. Despite being tattooed over most of his body, he was terrified of needles and always had to psyche himself out when getting ink. After going to White Boy Rick's cell, after 9 o'clock count, they put a flap in the window so no one could see, because this was the most awkward tattoo session both of them had been in.
Sorry, folks, quick commercial break. That's just like black folks to come on this YouTube thing and look at all these G.K. David movie stories, but don't send no Cash App or even hit the damn like or subscribe buttons. My people ain't shit. No, I'm just playing. I love all y'all. Well, except for them niggas that broke in my Cadillac last Tuesday. Fuck them niggas. Y'all go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for my boy so he can keep blessing y'all with this good content.
Thank you, Stephen. You're welcome, Calvin.
And if any of the inmates saw where Lil Boosie was getting his tat, it would raise a lot of questions. After Rick set up all of his equipment, he motioned for Boosie to come closer so he could begin. The 6-footer slid up in front of Rick, who was sitting on the bottom bunk, and pulled down his basketball shorts and boxers, revealing a limp piece of meat. Rick explained to Boosie that he was going to have to try and get rigid so he could start the tattoo, and Boosie fixed his face, as if that task was going to be impossible, but then, out of nowhere, he impulsively grabbed Rick's hand and wrapped it around his unmentionable. At first, Rick was startled, but standing only 5'6" and weighing 142 pounds, he didn't think he had a chance at winning a fight against Lil Boosie, so he didn't voice his anger. Upon touch, Boosie's you-know-what was stiff enough to get tatted, so Rick began, not need to put an outline on it because it was just a name, something he could easily freestyle from experience. Midway through the tattoo, Boosie started gooned down again, but when Rick had to wipe away the excess tattoo ink and blood as he worked, those sensations from the rubbing kept Boosie's meat at attention enough for Rick to finish up. At a half hour before lockdown that night, Rick was done, and Boosie loved his tattoo, but was a little embarrassed by his actions, which he chalked up to the childhood trauma still haunting him, or something, not accepting the fact that he just may be down with the rainbow shit. He told Rick not to mention where he got his tattoo to anyone in the dorm and paid him what he owed him for the work. For all y'all that's finna go into the prison system or you out there doing something that may land you in jail, please reconsider your actions, because don't nobody want to go to a place where weird stuff like this is going on. Work your job and stay free so you can raise your kids up in the right way. And I got a treat for y'all. Another evil folk story is on the way, so y'all just keep on watching. Just keep on watching. And for all y'all YNs that's out there in the street or just coming into the chain gang, I just want to say one thing to y'all. Don't join the gang. Join Jesus.